8 Kanpur policemen martyred and 7 injured in a firing by criminals during a raid in search of history sheeter Vikas Dubey. 2 culprits behind the encounter gunned down, says police. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath condoles the death, seeks a report on the shootout. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat visits late today to brief on the present situation in the eastern Ladakh sector by the 14 Corps officials. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates DD News for successful completion of 5 years of Vartavali, the only Sanskrit television news program catering to diverse subjects, projecting India's ancient wisdom in a modern format. Lightning strikes in different parts of Bihar, leaving 27 dead. Chief Minister announces an ex gratia of 4 lakh rupees to the next of kin of each deceased. Home Minister Amit Shah condoles the deaths, says the state government and disaster management teams are engaged in relief work. IMD predicts more thunderstorms accompanied with lightning for the next 48 hours. 3-time National Award winner and ace choreographer Saroj Khan passes away due to cardiac arrest in Mumbai. She choreographed more than 2,000 songs in a career span of 40 years, cremated at Malwani in Mumbai. A landslide at Myanmar jade mine leaves at least 162 people dead. The toll likely to increase. Relief and rescue operations are on in full swing. Good morning. Welcome to English News. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. The big news that we are tracking at this hour coming from Uttar Pradesh. At least 8 policemen from the Uttar Pradesh police personnel, including the Deputy Superintendent of Police, Devendra Mishra, were martyred in an encounter with criminals in the wee hours today in Kanpur city of Uttar Pradesh. While the combing operation was on, 2 culprits behind the encounter have been gunned down. The encounter took place when the police team was trying to arrest Vikas Dubey, a history sheeter facing 60 criminal cases in Dikru village under Chaubepur police station. As the police team was about to reach the hideout of the dreaded criminal, a hail of bullets was showered on them from a building rooftop. 7 police personnel are also injured in the incident. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has expressed his condolences to the family of the 8 police personnel. He has directed the DGP, H.C. Awasthi, to take strict action against the criminals and has sought a report of the incident.
शातिर अपराधी है जिसका नाम है विकास दुबे. इसके अगेंस्ट 60 केसेस करीब दर्ज हैं. ये हिस्ट्री शीटर भी है. इसके विरुद्ध एक केस दर्ज हुआ था 307 का. एक व्यक्ति ने इसके खिलाफ दर्ज कराया था करीब 24 घंटे पहले. तो पुलिस पार्टी एक ऑपरेशन करने गई थी और इन लोगों ने वहाँ पर जेसीबी लगा दिया अपने गांव में जहाँ पे पार्टी जा रही थी, जिस कारण गाड़ी वगैरह ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट हुई हमारी. और जब फोर्स उतरा तब इन्होंने फायरिंग की और हम लोगों ने उसमें जवाबी फायरिंग भी की. लेकिन चूँकि ये हाइट पर खड़े हुए थे लोग शायद अंधेरे में, तो इस वजह से जवाबी फायरिंग में इनके हमारे आदमियों पे गोलियां लगी हैं, जिसमें 8 आदमी शहीद हुए हैं, जिसमें हमारे लोकल सीओ साहब भी हैं और उनके साथ 3 सब इंस्पेक्टर्स और अन्य 4 कांस्टेबल्स हैं जिनको वीरगति प्राप्त हुई. और इसके अलावा करीब 7 आदमी हमारे घायल भी हुए हैं.
The DGP also mentioned his priorities and the future course of action.
सबसे बड़ी प्रायोरिटी 3 कही जाएंगी. पहला तो जो हमारे कर्मचारी हमारे साथी घायल हुए हैं उनको तत्काल इलाज अच्छे से अच्छा मिल पाए, वो जल्दी स्वस्थ हों. एक तो ये हमारी प्रायोरिटी है. दूसरी प्रायोरिटी इस ऑपरेशन को जो कंटिन्यू कर रहा है करते हुए न केवल इस अपराधी वरन इसके जो साथी हैं जो इसमें शामिल रहे हैं उनको उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई करना हमारी दूसरी सबसे बड़ी प्रायोरिटी है. और तीसरी ये कि ये जो वेपन्स वगैरह इन्होंने यूज़ किए ये वेपन्स इन्होंने कहाँ से हासिल कर लिए, कैसे हासिल कर लिए, और जो हमारे आदमियों को चोटें आई हैं उनका एग्जामिन करना और ये देखना कि किस तरह के वेपन्स से आई हैं, ये तीसरी प्रायोरिटी है इन्वेस्टिगेशन। ये स्पष्ट है कि इतनी बड़ी घटना है, ये हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है और हमने सारे ऑफिसर्स को वहाँ लगा रखा है और एक बहुत विशद ऑपरेशन न केवल एक ज़िले का वरन आसपास के सभी ज़िलों का, पूरे जोन के ज़िलों के लोगों को मोबिलाइज करके कर रखा है। उसको हम बहुत सीरियसली ले रहे हैं, इससे बड़ा चैलेंज हमारे लिए नहीं है कोई।
Well, the big story there coming from Kanpur is that two culprits behind that particular incident have been gunned down. Ramendra, correspondent, joining us with more updates on that particular story there. Ramendra, good morning. Ramendra, there has been updates about two culprits being gunned down. Give us more updates on what's happening there on ground zero.
देखिए, जिस तरीके से रात की घटना है 1:30 बजे की, पुलिस को जैसे ही ये पता चला कि इस तरीके से अपराधियों ने हमला किया पुलिस टीम पर, देखिए जो पूरी घटना है, जेसीबी को सामने लगा दिया था, लगभग 50 कैमरा लगाए हुए थे कि गांव में कौन एंट्री कर रहा उसको उसकी जानकारी होती थी। तो जाहिर है कि पुलिस खतरे में पड़ गई। पुलिस को नहीं पता था कि इतनी तैयारियों के साथ विकास दुबे अपने घर पर है। वो एक मॉनिटरिंग थी पुलिस की, हर कैमरे पर उसकी निगाह थी कि कहाँ टीम पहुंच रही है, कौन लोग हैं, कितने लोग हैं। पुलिस को लग रहा होगा कि अंधेरे में हम जा रहे हैं, शायद हमको पता नहीं है, उसको पता नहीं होगा, तो पूरी मॉनिटरिंग के साथ फायरिंग की गई। जिन प्रतिबंधित बोर के असलहों का उपयोग किया गया है, डीजीपी ने खुद बताया है, वो प्रतिबंधित बोर के असलहे प्रायः किसी अपराधी के पास भी नहीं मिलते हैं। और उत्तर प्रदेश में जब से योगी सरकार आई है तब से अपराधियों के हौसले बहुत पस्त हुए हैं। ये घटना जरूर थोड़ी सी चुनौती पेश कर रही है। अभी जो मुठभेड़ है वो जारी है। ये जो दो लोग जिनकी बात आप कर रहे हो, यूपी जो कानपुर ईस्ट के पुलिस अधीक्षक, उन्होंने पुष्टि की है कि 2 लोगों की मुठभेड़ में मार गिराया हमने। ये मुठभेड़ अभी जारी। पीछे के जो गांव जिधर से अपराधी भागे हैं उन गांव की बैरिकेटिंग कर लिया गया है। पुलिस एक घर में जाके सर्च कर रही है। उनके जो रिश्तेदार हैं विकास दुबे के, उनको हिरासत में लिया गया है, पूछताछ जारी की जा रही है। आईजी एसटीएफ लखनऊ से रवाना हो गए, एसटीएफ की टीम लखनऊ से रवाना हो गई, कानपुर एसटीएफ पहले से काम कर रही है। तो पूरी तैयारी के साथ ये कार्य योजना बनाई जा रही है कि जो घटना घटी है इसको छोड़ के आगे बढ़ा जाए और अपराधियों को किसी भी तरीके से कोई रियायत न मिले। जो मुख्यमंत्री ने कहा है कि किसी भी दशा में उनकी गिरफ्तारी और सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए।
Okay, Ramendra, looking at the way in which at that particular point of ambush, the police being caught off guard, is there now more reinforcements been given for the Uttar Pradesh police as they try and capture Vikas Dubey along with the other people who are there currently putting up a stiff fight against the Uttar Pradesh police?
ठीक है, उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस ने जो उनके 5 थाने आते हैं, जो 5 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं उनको पूरा बैरिकेटिंग कर दिया गया है। जो पूरी रोड है उसको उस एक आने वाले पर चेक किया जा रहा है और पुलिस टीम पूरी तरीके से वहाँ आईजी एडीजी लैंड ऑर्डर पहुँच गए हैं। आईजी वहाँ ऑलरेडी कैंप कर रहे हैं। तो जो आगे की तैयारी पुलिस की है वो पूरी तरीके से ये है कि किसी भी तरीके से अपराधी न भागने पाए, चूँकि ये बड़ी चुनौती है पुलिस टीम पर। जहाँ सीओ रैंक के अधिकारी गया हो उनको गिरफ्तारी करने के लिए। और जो विकास दुबे है, ऐसा नहीं कि लगातार देखिए, संतोष शुक्ला राज्य मंत्री का दर्जा प्राप्त, उसको सिवली थाने मार डाला, केबिल व्यवसायी को मार डाला, एक और अपराधी को मार डाला। ये 60 अपराध के बड़े मुकदमे उसके ऊपर हैं। तो जाहिर है कि कोई छोटा अपराधी नहीं था। पुलिस भी इस चैलेंज को समझती थी और उसी तैयारी के साथ गई थी। पुलिस को शायद पता नहीं था कि उसके एक कदम पर वो मॉनिटर कर रहा और इस तरीके से फायरिंग की गई। तो जो पूरी लगातार जो वहाँ रनिया के क्षेत्र का जो इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया है वहाँ से बड़ी उगाही होती थी, बड़ी जमीनों पर कब्जा कर रखा था। 8-10 गांव ऐसे थे जहां इनका सिक्का चलता था, पूरी तानाशाही थी। अपने भाई के मर्डर के लिए भी इसने जेल में बैठ के ताना बाना बुना था। तो गांव के इर्द गिर्द अपने लोगों को भी इसने नहीं छोड़ा था। तो अपराध की दुनिया में बड़ा नाम था और पुलिस की ये तैयारी है कि किसी भी तरीके से इसको पुलिस गिरफ्तार करे और सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए।
Okay, 2 quick updates I would like from you. First of all, an update on the policemen that were injured. We've read about 7 policemen that have been injured. Is there an update on their recovery, on what their situation is? Also, an update on the area Kanpur.
जो 7 लोग इंजर्ड बताए जा रहे हैं वो कानपुर में जो 7 लोग इंजर्ड पुलिसकर्मी बताए जा रहे हैं उनको पुलिस ने कानपुर में रेफर कर दिया था और कानपुर में इनका इलाज चल रहा है। 4 लोगों की हालत नाजुक बताई जा रही है, वो गंभीर रूप से घायल हैं। 3 लोग खतरे से बाहर बताए जा रहे हैं। जो अब तक की इनपुट है।
Okay, also a quick update on Kanpur. Is it sealed? You know, the borders, the bordering, the neighboring, areas that are neighbors to Kanpur. Has it Kanpur fully been sealed to catch or to nab the culprits?
देखिए, तो पूरे जो कानपुर है, कानपुर, इटावा, औरैया, फर्रुखाबाद और जो जालौन की लगती हुई सीमाएं हैं वो सारी सील कर दी गई हैं। पूरी रोड की बैरिकेटिंग पर सघन चेकिंग अभियान चलाया गया है। जो पीछे के गांव हैं वहां पुलिस को मार्च कर रही है, पुलिस बड़ी संख्या में पुलिस और पीएससी को तैनात किया गया है। गांव में सर्चिंग चल रही है। तो ये पुलिस की तैयारी है कि किसी भी तरीके से अपराधी भागने न पाए। पुलिस अब इस पर पूरा फोकस कर रही है। बाकी लोगों के जो पोस्टमार्टम के लिए जो बॉडीज है उनको पोस्टमार्टम के लिए भेज दिया गया है। जो शहीद जवान है उनको पोस्टमार्टम कराया जा रहा है। तो पुलिस दोनों तरफ काम कर रही है। जो रिकवरी, जो पुलिस के लोग इंजर्ड हुए हैं उनको कैसे बेहतर किया जाए, कैसे उनकी चिकित्सा सुविधा व्यवस्था की जाए। दूसरी तरफ अपराधियों को भी कोई छूट नहीं देना चाहिए और दोनों मोर्चों पर पुलिस डटी हुई है।
Okay, also a quick word on the ADG law and order. What did he say there? Prashant Kumar, is there a loss of equipments from the police end too? Have police lost some equipment, some weapons that were a part of this particular when they were caught in the ambush?
देखिए, पुलिस जो एडीजी लॉ एंड ऑर्डर ने कहा, जो बात हम कह रहे हैं लगातार कि जिस तरीके से पुलिस पूरी तैयारी से गई थी, पुलिस के पास वेपन्स ठीक थे, लेकिन जिस तरीके से अपराधियों ने बड़े वेपन्स कहां से लिए हैं उस पर भी तैयारी की जा रही है जी। तो वो तैयारी है कि जो अपराधी था वो ऊपर छत पर थे, इसलिए दिक्कत आ रही थी उनको कि पुलिस पूरी तैयारी के साथ वहां नहीं पहुंच पाई और मुठभेड़ में उनका नुकसान हुआ है।
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us, Ramendra Singh, with those updates there. 8 cops being killed, 7 injured in the raid at that notorious history sheeter Vikas Dubey's residence in Kanpur. The Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister has asked for a detailed report on the matter, and he said the culprits should not be spared. Moving on, Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat is on a visit to Leh today. The visit of the CDS comes at a time when Indian and Chinese soldiers are in a standoff at the LAC in Ladakh at several points. He will be briefed by the Northern Army Commander Lieutenant General Y.K. Joshi and 14th Corps Commander Lieutenant General Harinder Singh on the deployment and operational readiness of the Army troops. He will also be interacting with the Air Force officials at Leh Air Base and be given a review of the flying operations by the Indian Air Force at Leh and other advanced landing grounds in Ladakh. Well, moving on, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Thursday chaired a Defence Acquisition Council meeting. He approved the acquisition of platforms and equipment for the Indian Armed Forces. In the meeting, proposals worth nearly 40,000 crore rupees were approved. It includes the acquisition from Indian industry worth more than 30,000 crore rupees. The equipments are to be manufactured in India with the participation of MSMEs as vendors. With the acquisition of the Pinaka missile system, it will enable India in raising new regiments. Induction of the Astra missiles having the beyond visual range capacity will serve as a force multiplier for the defence forces. All this will add to the striking capacity of the Navy and the Air Force. The acquisition of the missile system to enable raising the additional regiments. It will also help the forces, especially the Air Force as well as the Navy there with this defence acquisition approvals. Also approved the proposal for procurement of 21 MiG-29s, upgradation of 59 MiG-29 aircrafts and the purchase of 12 Sukhoi 30 MKI aircraft. These are the things that have been approved. This will address a long-felt need to increase the Indian Air Force fighter squadrons. Moving on, the Indian Foreign Ministry said China and India have been talking through established military and diplomatic channels to address the situation along the LAC. A meeting between commanders from the Indian Army and the Chinese PLA was held at Chushul on the Indian side of the LAC on the 30th of June. The spokesperson said India expects the Chinese side to work towards restoration of peace and tranquility in border areas as per the bilateral agreements and protocols. Replying to a question on the ban of 59 apps, the spokesperson said companies have to abide by Indian rules and regulations, including those pertaining to data security and privacy of individual data.
India is today one of the world's largest markets for digital and internet technologies with more than 680 million subscribers. The world's largest software and internet application companies are present in India. Naturally, while operating in India, they have to abide by our rules and regulations issued by the relevant ministries and departments, including those pertaining to data security and privacy of individual data. While we will continue to welcome foreign investments in India, including in the area of internet technologies, but this will have to be in accordance with the rules and regulatory framework established by the government.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated DD News for successful completion of 5 years of Vartavali. It is the only Sanskrit language television news program catering to diverse subjects, projecting India's ancient wisdom in a modern format. He said the program is an incredible effort to make Sanskrit language popular amongst the common man. Prime Minister also said people's inclination towards Sanskrit has increased globally in the recent past, for which Doordarshan's effort is unparalleled. Collective and focused efforts for containment and management of COVID-19 by the government along with the state and union territories have led to the recovery rate among the COVID-19 patients to reach 60%. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the figure of active cases in India stand at 2,27,439, while 3,79,891 patients have been cured. 18,213 people have died. The recovery rate, which continues to improve, now stands at 60.72%. Well, moving to Bihar, and tragedy striking there due to lightning. As many as 27 more people died in lightning strikes in various parts of Bihar on Thursday. This was the third incident of lightning strikes in a state within a week, leaving around 100 people dead. Earlier, lightning strikes were reported from 22 districts on 25th of June and then from 5 districts on 30th of June. According to the State Disaster Management Department, the latest casualties were reported from 8 districts: Patna, Samastipur, East Champaran, West Champaran, Siohar, Katihar, Madhepura and Purnia. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar announced ex gratia payment of 4 lakh to the next of the kin of all those who died due to lightning. The Chief Minister also made an appeal to the people to follow the advisory of the Disaster Management Department and to stay indoors and be safe during the turbulent weather. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has condoled the death of people in lightning strikes in Bihar and said the state government and disaster management teams are engaged in relief work. In a tweet, he said, "I am very sad over the death of many people in lightning strikes in Bihar. The state administration and disaster management teams are engaged in relief work. I express my condolences to the bereaved families in this hour of grief and wish the injured a speedy recovery." In a big success for security forces in Jammu and Kashmir, State Police and CRPF on Thursday gunned down the killer behind the Bijbehara shooting in Anantnag last week. He was identified as Zahid Das. A CRPF constable was martyred and a 6-year boy was killed in the Bijbehara encounter. Meanwhile, a terrorist was killed and a CRPF personnel martyred during a gunfight between terrorists and forces in Malbagh area of central Kashmir's Srinagar district. Earlier, a joint team of police and CRPF launched a cordon and search operation in Malbagh. As the joint team approached the suspected spot, the hiding terrorists fired upon them. The fire was retaliated by the joint team, triggering off an encounter. Moving now to taking a look at the global numbers when it comes to COVID-19. At the global level, the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 have crossed the 1 crore 8 lakh mark with over 5,20,000 fatalities. According to the latest data compiled by the Johns Hopkins University, 1 crore 8,42,416 cases of COVID-19 have been reported across the world. United States continues to be the worst hit country with over 27,39,000 cases and 1,28,000 deaths, followed by Brazil that's got 14,96,000 cases that have been reported and over 61,000 deaths, while 6,60,000 cases have been reported in Russia with 9,668 deaths. In some other news, at least 162 people have died and many others are feared trapped after a landslide at a jade mine in northern Myanmar's Kachin state. The landslide was triggered by heavy rain and swept through the site in the jade-rich area of Hapkant yesterday morning. United Nations in Myanmar issued a statement saying it was deeply saddened by the terrible loss of life due to a massive landslide. It commended the courageous efforts by the men and women involved in the difficult rescue and relief operations there. Landslides and other fatal accidents are common in Myanmar's gemstone mines. The industry generates about $31 billion every year. Up to 60% of the usual capacity will be allowed inside the Roland Garros grounds for the 2020 edition of the French Open amid the COVID-19 crisis. French Federation President Prasar Bharati said that on the main courts, a maximum of 4 people could sit together with an empty seat between groups. On the other courts, 1 seat out of the 2 will be empty when the main tournament starts on September 27th. The French Federation added that the COVID-19 protocols for players and staff are still being drafted. The French Open was postponed from its usual May-June dates to September due to COVID-19 pandemic. The US Open is being held without any spectators in attendance in New York from August 31st to September 13th. Liverpool's Premier League title winning celebrations were slightly dampened as they were thrashed 4-0 by Manchester City. Newly crowned Premier League champions Liverpool were brought down to earth with a bump on Thursday night. City, who gave Liverpool a guard of honor, were the dominant force and scored 3 goals in the first half. Kevin De Bruyne converted the opener from the penalty spot after Raheem Sterling finished off a swift counter-attack for the second. Midfielder Phil Foden enhanced his reputation coolly, slotting home before half-time following a quick 1-2 with Kevin. City scored their 4th goal in the second half when Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain inadvertently slid the ball into his own net from Sterling's slow drive. The first half horror at the Etihad will somber the Reds' mood and a remainder of the challenge they face next season from Manchester City. Well, there have been 25 NBA players who were positive for COVID-19 since testing began last week. Ahead of that restart to the season, the league and the Players Union announced this on Thursday. In the latest results, the NBA and the National Basketball Players Association said 25 of the 351 players have tested positive since testing started on June 23rd. The NBA season is scheduled to resume on July 30th, with 22 teams participating in Orlando in Florida. Bollywood choreographer Saroj Khan died of cardiac arrest in the wee hours today. She was laid to rest and cremated at Malwani in Malad. She was admitted with breathing complaints at the Guru Nanak Hospital at Bandra in Mumbai on June 17th. The legendary choreographer had severe diabetes and related illness. She had tested negative for COVID-19. She was 72. She choreographed famous dance sequence in more than 200 films in a career lasting more than 40 years. The 3-time National Award winner has been credited with choreographing over 2,000 songs, including some iconic numbers such as Hawa Hawaii from the movie Mr. India, Ek Do Teen from the movie Tezab, Dhak Dhak Karne Laga from the movie Beta, and Dola Re Dola from the movie Devdas. She last choreographed Madhuri Dixit in the song Tabaa Ho Gaya from Karan Johar's production Kalank in 2019. Saroj Khan is survived by her husband, a son and 2 daughters. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has expressed grief in a tweet. He said, Saroj Khan was a genius choreographer who impressed and entertained all with her iconic work. Shocked to know about her demise. A big loss to the film industry. Condolences to her family, friends and fans. Om Shanti. That's all we have time for in this edition of news. Remember, you need to follow the social distancing norms because we need to see a better tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.